So thank you everyone for attending today's live webcast, Top 10 Winning Strategies to Partnership in the Cloud. My name is Kim Harrison and I am the Market Development Manager here at Concerto Cloud Services, and I will be your moderator for today. Presenting on today's live webcast will be Rochelle Coleman, Director of Marketing and Partner Strategy at Concerto Cloud Services. Before we get started, I just wanted to go over a few housekeeping items. So after the presentation, we'll have a brief Q&A period. To submit a question, click on the question button and type your question. We will try to answer as many questions as possible. However, if we don't get to yours, we will simply happily respond after the webcast. For those of you who are interested in today's presentation, it will be made available to you via on-demand and will be posted on the Concerto Keep Calm webcast landing page for future viewing and sharing. Lastly, please provide feedback. Feedback is always welcome. So at the end of today's live webcast, we greatly appreciate your feedback, and you can go ahead and submit that afterwards. So with that, let's get started. Rochelle, take it away.
Great, thanks so much, Kim. I appreciate everyone on the line today, and this is just going to be a quick 25 minutes or so, just little tidbits that you can take away around considerations on partnership in the cloud. The key questions when you consider partnership with a cloud partner, obviously as a cloud service provider ourselves who's focused on the channel, we've gone through the ups and downs of strategic partnership. It's not an easy thing. So we're going to go through some of the pitfalls and mistakes that we've seen other partners make in the industry relative to cloud, and why partnership in the cloud is so unique and such a different beast relative to prior technology partnerships in our history. We're going to give you some resources to use as you journey into your own cloud partnership, and we're just going to give you the quick 30 seconds on who we are, just out of pure interest for you, and then we'll do our Q&A as Kim had mentioned. So these are not all-encompassing by all means. We have, there's lots of winning strategies to partnership in the cloud, and truly it is a personal journey and one that, you really have to look at your own culture, your own fit of your organization. But we're big fans of top 10 lists and top 5 lists, and so we really feel that these are the top 10 best considerations to think through when you are understandably moving into the cloud and inevitably partnering in some way. Even those who choose to take an entire cloud strategy and try to build it your own, at some point you come across partnership, whether it's the infrastructure that you build, whether it's the go-to-markets that you have to think through. Regardless of whether you're building your own, partnering with a cloud service provider, or something in between, partnership is always at the core. So let me just give you up front what that top 10 list looks like. I'm not going to go through each one because we're going to quickly touch on each as we go through. And this is really a takeaway list for you. So for those of you who are either at the start of a partnership, considering your partnership options, or truly have maybe not built a plan around partnership, these are the 10 things that I would personally put into a plan and have some concrete conversations internally and with the partner of choice on evaluating my needs and whether you're going to fulfill them with that partner. So if we get into them, and we're going to move pretty fast because we are trying to be efficient and also make sure that this stays interesting for you. But at the top of that list is really the concept that not all cloud partners are created equal. At the end of the day, we can all profess to be in partnerships, but as you sit down and you think about a long-term partner and the uniqueness of cloud, and cloud not being something you step into, then step out of, you truly have to think about what is the uniqueness and reliability of this partner. Do they have backed certifications around migrations, technical and operational excellence? Are they the type of partner that is not just, built an infrastructure, monitor cloud workloads, and move on? That, at this point, has become a pure commodity. So partnership can take you much further than that, and you want to look for an opportunity with a partner that's not just selling you one thing. You want the option and the opportunity to add more and more things as your customers demand those types of opportunities. So for us, as we started down the path of determining our partner base and what our channel looked like, we did have a pretty stringent categorization process. And this categorization process was not in the traditional sense of, what's their revenue, what's their margin, how many salespeople do they have. It was really about what is their cultural fit, what are their values. Will they come down the path with us as a partner and truly understand what it means to do business with us? Will there be a bait and switch opportunity? So, they say they're partner friendly, but then at the first turn of looking at a partner, at a customer and making it direct, they will take that on themselves. So I urge you to think about that categorization process and really research and do your homework. Number 9, and this is, in the spirit of having, 5,000 lunches with a partner and getting nowhere, this is about really being pragmatic and asking the right questions up front. There are some very specific practical things you should know. Are they at the beginnings of their partner compensation model? Do they have something that they can articulate to you immediately on a whiteboard that shows you how their sales teams, how their across team, how their senior leadership team gets compensated on cloud? Or are they living in the age of big deal 3-year maintenance renewal, big deal 3-year maintenance renewal? So if they're in that cycle or they're trying to get out of it, you either are in an opportunity where you can work through that together, or if you're at a point where you've been doing that for a few years, you really want to find a like-minded partner who doesn't need to cross that chasm over a number of months or quarters. What is their average uptime? I mean, if you're in a cloud scenario and you've got a bunch of customers with mission-critical applications, pretty hard to sell them a 99.95 these days or a 99.90. The aggressiveness and the savviness of customers looking for 4 nines or plus is a very key question to ask. Will they offer the right solution? So in the world of cloud, if you think about the top 100 cloud providers in the U.S. Or in the Americas or globally today, everyone's scrambling for that next solution. The approach should be in partnership. Are you willing to go down the path and try new solutions, even at the expense of maybe that solution not being immediately profitable? To expect to see profitability in a partnership right off the bat, where you're journeying yourselves and bringing your customers along, can be tough. So you should really try and evaluate whether that partner is willing to try new things with you, because cloud is the speed of light, and before you know it, there's probably 4 or 5 new things we could have personally our fingers into right now, and we require a channel and support to help us through that. Do they offer fully managed services, even in the world of public cloud? So where you've got the hyperscaled clouds in the industry today, which serve a great purpose, are incredible for many reasons. Are you looking at a partner in cloud that is able to help manage those workloads for you? So they may have a whole pile of other solutions. They may have a private cloud scenario. They may have some hybrid capabilities. But are they able to take on other things for you and your customers, so you're not having to go to multiple partners to put together your cloud business? It's much easier to strategically align and grow a partnership with those that you can spend lots of time and trust factor in there than focusing on having 7 or 8 different partnerships and trying to manage all of them for different purposes. So hopefully you'll find a partner that has that fully managed experience. Will they help you create a cloud business plan? So will they sit down with you and work through a business plan with you? Do they have financial modeling that they can take you through? All of these are connected themes on how much support that partner is going to handhold you through, if you desire, through the journey into becoming a fully cloud-centric business for your organizations. And then, a lot of cloud companies have a variety of pre-sales and post-sales support. Just be very clear on what that offering is. Understand it relative to the 99.99 uptime. Understand it relative to 24/7. Where their NOC sits, who manages their NOC, meaning their Network Operations Center. So just be careful that you've asked those questions. They're good ones, and they should be asked right up front. So number 8 is, we've termed it shouldn't be all or nothing. So this really alludes to a point I made on number 9 where, customers are way more savvy than, I mean, customers, partners, everyone is more savvy about what they want, how they want to proceed. And cloud is an inevitable evolution, but they want to go at their own pace, and they also want to go and put their right workload in the right cloud. So, you know, give you an example, if someone's doing a bunch of test dev and web development work and pre-production, you know, there's absolutely no reason why they have to go into a, you know, best-in-class mission-critical private cloud. If you have a high-performing CRM application with lots of customizations, and you're in a position where every time a patch comes down, you know, that's going to either turn off your CRM or make it very difficult for your team to keep that always-on experience. You want the options in a cloud provider to be able to move those workloads. So you want the mission-critical for that high-performance, you know, always-on application, and then you also want the ability to put those web pre-production, test dev type stuff in public. And for you to be able to do that with one vendor and potentially move things between public and private, it's a huge value prop. There's a handful of partners that do that in North America today. It's going to grow over time because it's, you know, the hyper-scaled public cloud providers are doing a great job on really focusing on APIs and connectors for cloud service providers out there, but really look for a provider that has an integrated approach. That holistic approach will help you become a much more trusted advisor to your customers. And then also be very clear that, you know, that security layer that wraps all of this opportunity to move workloads comes down to the application layer, and that when you're talking to a cloud provider, it's not just about the platform, but it's about their specific application being secure. So number 7 cannot go out without remiss that in the world of cloud, we know 5-6 years ago, if you asked a group of customers what was more secure, to keep all of their applications inside the walls of their organization or to be in the cloud, they would absolutely say within the walls of their organization. That pendulum has swung a complete 180, or I guess the other side of the pendulum for the right analogy, and the concept of always on and the SLAs around that truly resides in the capabilities and expertise of a cloud provider. So when you're looking at things like how a cloud provider manages security and compliance, what type of compliancy resources do they have? Do they have a chief compliance officer? Do they have a team of compliancy experts that allow a customer to understand what they're going to do relative to HIPAA or CGIS or ITAR or the multiple compliances and governance bodies out there that require healthcare, retail, manufacturing applications to be incredibly secure down to that compliancy level. Take a look at their customer care and support and monitoring services. Are they able to monitor your application and let you know in advance when there's going to be a run hot scenario or you're going to have an issue in a specific area of your application? You know, the key focus here is your application. People don't come to the cloud to monitor, you know, racks and compute and storage. They are placing a very delicate, important piece of their business in the cloud, and so the security and compliance of that is very key. Heading into number 6, this really actually bodes well with the last point, where you need that rich application experience. It's very difficult for a partner and a partner's customer to go stand around the table or sit around the table with a cloud provider and have that cloud provider know nothing about the application that's being put in the cloud. They treat all workloads as equal. You could have an ERP, a CRM, an enterprise content management, a point of sale. Well, as a customer does not want to be spoken to and does not want their cloud business sitting in a generic you know, cloud environment. They want to know that the cloud provider and the corresponding partner of choice, such as yourself, has that rich application experience. And in some cases, that rich application experience comes from a partner like yourself completely. And all you need is that, that back-end cloud platform. But inevitably, the cloud service provider, when things go wrong, needs to have that rich application experience to bring it up very efficiently and very quickly. You want to understand what their allowances are for third-party solutions. How many other third-party solutions have they integrated into their cloud today? What does their ISV base look like? So independent software vendors who are hosting their cloud application in that specific service provider. And then, of course, you want to wrap that all into those industry compliancy requirements that we spoke about. So moving on to number 5, not everyone fits the same mold. So there has to be, it doesn't matter if you're selling a widget to a customer, whether we're selling a full-service cloud solution to a customer. We understand and recognize, and cloud service providers in general, across the industry, understand that each customer does have unique needs. Cloud is not something that people tread lightly going into. They want to understand that they have the right mix of that, cost and the security, and they're always on high availability. And if they see all that coming together, it changes their world, it changes their model, it changes how they do their business. So there is a desire to have a cloud service provider that can sit beside you around a board table and look at that customer in the eye and say, let's think about your challenges, let's think about your unique needs, and let's produce a cloud plan that works for you. You're not going to get that with a lot of kind of cookie cutter, commodity type cloud service providers. So we would urge you to look at those that really focus on the people component and the kind of the cultural element of sitting down with a customer and actually understanding their challenges inside out. So that really aligns nicely to number 4, which talks to customer service being king. So, any of us who have spent more than 20, 25 years in the industry understand very clearly that any salesperson in the world of technology, not necessarily being the best salesperson in the world, but could effectively sell someone a big deal and then disappear for 3 years until the renewal was up. And for a long time, for decades, in some of this, highly commoditized but highly required, almost a monopoly on some of these pieces of software, that customers didn't have a choice. Customers were roped into 3-year big contracts. They had a very tough time getting out of these contracts. It wasn't worth it. They never heard from anybody during this time, and frankly, there was no requirement to do so. In the new world and in the cloud world, that is quickly pivoted to a lifetime relationship with the customer. You don't ever disappear. You don't ever come out of that that partnership. You never come out of the partnership between a cloud provider and a value-added reseller or a system integrator or an ISV. You end up very focused on being there 100% of the time, because really the nuts and bolts of it is they can fly and go take on another cloud service provider. You want to make sure that this is a customer for life, that we are not, signing the contract and saying goodbye, or, depleting the level of service 3 months after they have been in our cloud. Now, every customer has their version of what they mean by customer service. We've got customers that, they call us, they don't want to hear from us until something is wrong, but as sure as heck when something is wrong, and it could be something wrong with something outside of our cloud environment, but we will aim to please and fix and support them in any way we can. They want to know that that they can get us at the drop of a dime, and that they can get anything that they need, and get a resolution in a very efficient time period. Others want to talk about their journey. They want to have a regular interaction. They want to invite us to come to the table and talk to them about what their future plans are. You can imagine in the world of a growing customer base, some that would be part of your environment today, they're adding workloads all the time. These workloads could look a little different. They might be more complex as a customer grows, especially if you're a North American mid-market organization today. You could be in a very high growth environment, or you're changing your business into being an e-commerce practice or that sort of thing. So they need to understand that they have those dedicated resources, executive sponsorship, and that they feel like they're being handheld through that phased approach, and that that deployment of cloud has helped them every step of the way. So moving on to number 3, this is a great checkpoint and something that actually I personally do all the time with all the partnerships that we have. I do some research around the channel partner program that they have. So, it's a good indicator of understanding how organized a cloud service provider is. Do they have multiple options for partnering? Do they give you that flexibility of what partnership looks like? Do they understand that people are not, ciphered into one singular program? Do they have a portal that allows them, to give you content? If it's a partnership, we want to get you things quickly and make sure that you have the enablement that you need to be a partner out in the cloud market quicker than if you were to try and build that out yourself. Are they accessible? So are they there at your beck and call for a phone call? They may not be able to fulfill every one of your partnership needs, but they can certainly give some thought and are flexible enough to see if they can work with you on any specific area of your business. And, can you leverage each other in joint go-to-market? So that's always a misnomer and a bit of a fluffy statement, but you can always judge a partner book by its cover on the types of campaigns that they have in market, the types of press releases and PR in highlighting partners. Are they truly a partner-centric cloud organization, or is it more of a lip service around partnership? That's where you want to get to the meat and bones of a channel partner program. So that brings us to number 2, and that whole concept of go-to-market. So, and go-to-market is not just about building a list and sending out a message and, crossing your fingers and toes and hoping for the best. There's actually quite a bit of science between 2 partners coming together and providing a go-to-market, and it really does start with the technical side of the house. The onboarding piece of getting your solution into the cloud or getting several customers into the cloud, showing that example and that customer reference is key, and it starts with going through the process from beginning to end of selling that solution. Only then can you really start growing your account base and, kind of put out an offer when you've really shown that you've gone through the cycle with this cloud service provider. Cloud service providers should be able to provide you messaging that you can integrate, whether it's vertical or line of business. They should be able to help you articulate and sit down and support what your customer pain points are and fill in the blanks of some of the other pain points of moving to the cloud that they're going to have to deal with. And, at the end of the day, it's a digital world, and customers are making their choices around who they want to partner with based on the content they see in front of them and what's served up to them every day. And so understanding that audience and having a regular rhythm for content all the time, every week, a blog a week is what we say, then you are constantly understanding who wants to come into that partnership and be part of your ecosystem. And the number 1, which really brings it all together and I think sums it up nicely, is that trusted advisor concept. So again, another fluffy word, but can be brought to life in such a meaningful way when you think through a true partnership. So, as a cloud service provider, we are focused on finding the right partners, not focused on finding thousands of partners. This is not a scaled out business for someone like us. This is about long-term deep partnerships and accelerated growth of those partners that are in our ecosystem. We accept a partner and sign on a partner when we have done our own categorization process, and we expect the partner to do the same. And the more you can be upfront about that and be really practical about whether it is a partnership fit for both parties, that is when you can get into a trusted experience, and you can really accelerate both businesses in a very significant way. So make sure that you're always asking for that evidence. Phone calls, I think it's better than a one sheet. I think calling up customers and partners that are in that cloud today and understanding all about that, I think, is very important. And just, do a check on the authenticity. So, is this a company that you can feel authentic with. You can be your authentic self. You know, there's not mind games being played around the table. There's not things being held back. That's really, truly only when partnership can come together, you know, in the way it needs to. So let me just, as we close out on those top 10 and get to kind of a conclusion, let me just summarize some common pitfalls and mistakes that people make. You can take that top 10 and still kind of mess with it if you don't have some of these things, you know, in your own backyard taken care of. So you might not have a 100% clear roadmap to the cloud, and you may need a partner to help you that, but you're going to be clear in your delineation on how quickly you are prepared to go, what you want to build versus what you think you need to buy or partner with. You should have some type of solid financial model, and that's easier said than done. Building out a financial model moving from a traditional business through to an MRR, monthly recurring revenue cycle, can take a bit of work. And so, again, sometimes if you pick the right cloud provider, that cloud provider can help you through that, but you should have some solid thoughts about what you want that financial model growth to look like. You want to be able to enable and educate your sales force. You want time. You want that cloud provider to spend time with your sales team. You want them to be at your kickoff. You want them to be sitting around the table talking about what's in it for your sales folks and your marketing folks to be not only in the cloud, but in the cloud with the right partner. You don't want to ever risk customer sat for getting that first deal. So if you look at a company such as ourselves, we will hold back on the pace to which we move forward with a partner or a customer to make sure that the long-term cloud journey is the right one. So sometimes you have to take a couple steps back to take 5 leaps forward. We fundamentally agree with that philosophy. And then understanding the basics of licensing and the costs and what does it mean to have margin on an MRR scenario, and what types of margins can you gain from this cloud provider is very key and a very practical thing to talk about up front. Otherwise it could be a pitfall. You get all the way through and then have a margin discussion and it kind of falls apart. Let me spend 30 seconds or less just talking about Concerto. So we are a fully managed cloud service provider. You can probably attest from the top 10. Premium comes standard in support, pricing, you know, the 99.999% uptime. All of these things are very important to us. We do fully manage public and private workloads, so our hybrid cloud strategy is to be able to offer a customer and a partner a single place to go to put their cloud workloads in the right place at the right time. And we do have a partner network program, the Concerto Partner Network, and you can just read the types of strategic partnerships that we have and the type of accolades we currently have as an organization. So in terms of next steps, there's a few things you can do. You can share this presentation with others within your organization if you're at a point in time where you're looking for partnership and you want things to consider, and even scope out a little bit of a plan for yourself. You can, you know, evaluate yourself against those top 10 strategies. How would you place yourself across those top 10 today? And then you can engage with any of our next webcasts. So we're doing a series of these education sessions in hopes that partners can, you know, whether it's a Concerto story or whether you are working with another cloud provider, it's important for the industry that we continue to educate around the cloud and enable customers to be doing their personal best in the cloud. We also want your opinion. As Kim said at the beginning, we would love your opinion around this webinar. And if you want to contact me personally on anything, please feel free at any point in time, and my email's there. And then we also have our partner inbox, partner@concertocloud.com. So with that, I think I'm turning it back to Kim to see if there's any questions.
Perfect. Thanks, Rochelle. That was great, by the way. Thank you. So as Rochelle indicated, we're going to open it up for a few questions now. I'd like to remind everyone that if you have a question, to submit it via the question button. And right now, I'll just give you a few moments to type in your questions, and then we can start from there. All right, we see someone's typing in here. Okay, Rochelle, we have our first question. We are looking at multiple partners to provide cloud for us. Do you recommend going with one partner for everything or using multiple partners?
So that's a very good question, and I think I alluded to a little bit of it, but I probably didn't answer it completely. You certainly, I think there's multiple partners, period. I would make the statement that at the end of the day, in the world of cloud and the flexibility in cloud, whether you're building or partnering your company out there in the cloud space, you're always going to have somewhat more than one partner, and that's just by virtue of the technology itself. It's completely impossible to have the same person who's providing your SaaS application to be the same one that's a one-size-fits-all for every single thing that your customer needs. What I recommend is a diversified approach. So you should have kind of your go-to trusted advised cloud provider. So that person that you can feel compelled to even stand right in front of them as an organization and say, I'm thinking about adding this partner to my cloud ecosystem, and for them not to balk at that and think that they can try and do everything for you. But that cloud service provider does the lion's share, is your go-to, even helps you evaluate other partners potentially for other areas of your business. There's no, there's no second guessing. Cloud service providers are going to continue to provide more and more managed services, and they're going to grow their business. But it's unrealistic to think that there's always going to be one throat to choke, and frankly, there is the argument that you want to diversify a little bit to make that a safety net for yourself.
Okay, perfect. I have one more question. We are a long-term Cisco partner. What capacity does Concerto work with Cisco? Good question.
Yeah, so you would have seen Cisco powered in our slide deck. So Cisco's a large part of our infrastructure, and we are built on a UCS platform along with such technologies as NetApp and VMware for our private cloud. And then, of course, we fully manage Azure and AWS in our public cloud space. We do employ the ACI concept of technology, which is the application-centric infrastructure. As a result, we are one of their cloud-managed service providers, which is really just a small handful of partners that went through a very rigorous audit to get that type of certification. Really what that means is that we've built a best-in-class platform. We really are a favorable Cisco partner. We think very highly of their technology. We're going to continue to grow our platform and partner with them, and that means that any partner that's really a partner of Concerto gains that benefit of ensuring that their customers are on a best-in-class platform.
That's wonderful, Rochelle. Thanks so much. So that's all we have time for questions today. So on behalf of Rochelle Coleman and Concerto Cloud Services team, I'd like to thank you for attending today's live webcast. We hope to see you at the next live webcast, and for more details and topics, please visit concertocloud.com/keepcom/webcast. Thank you and have a great day.